Alrighty, let's bring Corwin on. Here we go. Corwin, hello. You are on. He is being stinky right now. You want to know how I know? Because this is how he was. Stop it. You gotta stop it.
What?
You gotta stop it.
You just said sit back and watch like it's a podcast.
You gotta
That's
stop
what I was
this.
doing.
This is who I had to email back and forth for 3 years. Okay? How are you doing, Corwin?
You can feel how much she enjoyed the emails.
Oh, I love them so much.
They were fantastic. When I didn't accidentally rickroll you because I was trying to get Han and I needed a decoy, and I always end up using you and putting other actors in the line of fire, and it never worked.
Yeah, we actually brought that up on Han's Plus when he brought that up, and I told Han, I said he sent me one, and guess what? It wasn't even during the main game. It was when we were recording wavelengths. Like, it was just us. There was no other, like, what? There was nobody else on there, and you just rickrolled me for no... I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
No reason for the greater good. You don't understand that, man.
Oh, man. We got a good insight. So it's just fun. It's been fun to talk to all the other folks and then hear your name be brought up multiple times. And I think a lot of the questions we got actually revolve around the things that we've heard from the previous interviews. So if you probably saw that, there's some interesting ones coming up. But yeah. So for the folks who have no idea who you are, Corwin, can you just give people a little brief of who you are and how you found yourself working at Deck 9 Games?
Yeah. Do you want the little bit slightly longer version of how I made it into Deck 9 Games?
Yes, we want this. We want it all.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Corwin. I like long walks on the beach and also playing video games on the beach, but there's no power, so it's hard. No, I started in high school, believe it or not. I was that nerdy kid, believe it or not, that read video game magazines like all day, like Game Informer, EGM, Nintendo Power, like what's a magazine, right? And I dreamed of working in games. And then I graduated high school. I'm like, I don't have a skill set. So I went and got an English degree. And that English degree, I took one class, a film class, is like just an intro to film. And it made me fall in love with film. I'm like, I really want to do this. I took the English degree because I actually really wanted to write, like in terms of like where I have always creatively found myself. It was always through writing. So that's why I went for the English degree. I found film and I was like, I want to go to film school. So I graduated with a bachelor's in English and then I went to film school in Denver, Colorado Film School. And for a few years there, I was studying just writing and directing. But the thing about writing and directing is if you want to get set experience, like you can do that for your own projects, but to get on other projects, everyone's writing and directing their own stuff. So I ended up learning about this position called assistant director. And I had no idea what this position did. Someone literally just liked some of the raw footage from one of my films and were like, hey, we're kind of alike. You want to be my assistant director? I was like, sure. What is that? And it's like one of the most vital positions on a set. And it was, I remember the director even came up to me like in the first, like the day before the shoot. He's like, hey, can you put together a schedule? I'm like, I don't have time for that. And I just finger gunned him and walked away. So that was like my first AD job. But from there on, I was so horrible at it. But I also knew I could be like right next to a director by doing that job. I'm like, if I'm going to learn from other people, like that's the job I want to do. So I set off for like 3 semesters, basically just dedicating myself to, I want to be assistant director. I want to know what they do. I want to learn like how to be the best one. I want to learn from my mistakes. And for like a year and a half, I focused on that. It is people call it a thankless job. It is not a thankless job. I've seen that with all your plus ones. These y'all are amazing, and I love you all that. You, Katy, Erica, Han. I mean, maybe less Han. So a little burned from the Rickrolls, but it is a job that is just absolutely vital to a position. And because of that, I just gained a reputation at the school that I was a good assistant director. People really wanted me for their projects. To the point where one of my teachers who taught so for those that don't know, Deck 9 actually helped the film school start a video game writing class. I was actually in the very first one with a teacher named Will Hicks. He's an awesome individual, and it was like easily the best class I'd recommend to anybody. And he's such a wonderful teacher. But Deck 9 actually lent us our script writing software for games. So we got to write our own little projects for the school. And having built a relationship with that teacher and his connection with Deck 9, when I wasn't even taking his class, like a couple semesters later, he came up to me. He's like, "Corwin, can I see you in my office?" I was like, "What did I do? Did I fail the class?" I'm like, "Wait, I'm not in your class. What is this about?" And he just pulled me in his office and asked, "It's like, hey, Deck 9 is looking for an assistant director. I was wondering if I could recommend your name." Yeah. I was like, I overthink things a lot. I overthought just from anxiety coming on and talking to you on stream. Aww. I was like, I don't know about this.
You're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's all thanks to your support and your amazing background. Like, it's so colorful and warm. I love it. So it's one of the few moments in my life where I told my brain to shut up and just stop thinking, and I just told him yes, put my name forward. And I end up in an interview with Webb. Webb is the performance director, if those of you don't know, but I'm sure you do because it's Katy. And it was like the longest interview of my life. I don't even know, it felt like an hour and a half, 2 hours I was in there. And he's like, I seriously did it. I was so nervous in the interview because I'd never done games before. So he asked, a lot of questions about game design and just managing that. And I was like so nervous because I was like, I can't talk to this. I've never done this before. But I just talked to the experiences that came from set and tried to find correlative examples to what he was asking. And apparently somehow I impressed somebody because I got like an email that night at my job. And I remember I got the email from Jeff, who is our COO, and he actually didn't know what an assistant director was because I could tell, because no joke, he called me the assistant to the director. He officed me.
Jeff. Aww. We love Jeff though.
Oh, I love him. He's a wonderful man. But yeah, I got the job. I was working actually at a restaurant at the time just as a server, and I legit walked into my manager's office. I'm like, "Hey, I can only work weekends now." I just got a job. Like in the middle of my shift, I told him this.
Yes, we love that.
And yeah, that's how I found myself at Deck 9. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
almost.
And you were the assistant director for Life is Strange Before the Storm. That's crazy. And I didn't know you back then.
I didn't know you, and I'm so mad about it. Like, I mean, I knew of you, but I don't think we had any communication.
We didn't. The only person I had communication with at Deck 9 was Webb, and it was just like over a Zoom call, and then he came into the studio here in Burbank one time. And I was like, nice.
You might have heard of me once because I remember there was this one day that we were doing, I think, pickup VO. And the spreadsheet we were using for tracking all that VO was a mess. It got like sorted in a really horrible way where Webb and everyone there was just like, we don't know what we're recording now. So he like emailed me and he's like, I just picture Webb at that studio in LA and he's like, I'll get to the bottom of this. I know a guy, and he's just messaging me like, so I like Corwin. Just
that's crazy though.
I don't know if you ever experienced one of those days if VO was just a mess.
It wasn't, not for the ones I came in on, so I don't think I ever did it. That's crazy. But then I did get to meet you for True Colors, which was so awesome. And like I had seen your name before, and I'd seen things and I did a bunch of research. But yeah, and those people here on the stream, they know. Like I talk so well about the game and about Life is Strange and about Deck 9 in particular. And I've told you this to your I say your face, but to your email face. You are easily the best assistant director, best producer, I don't know. When I came onto the game to True Colors, I didn't know anyone's titles anymore. So I always thought you were the assistant director again until I saw your title in the freaking credits. I was like, okay.
That actually changed because so assistant director is a filmic term, like it's all from film.
Yes.
And it's very correlative to the job I do.
Yes.
But it confused the crap out of people.
Yeah.
We would have devs wonder, who is the mocap producer? I don't understand. We're like, we should probably just change.
This is
the
Corwin,
title,
yeah.
guys.
And that makes
this
sense
is Corwin.
because that's where you lived. You lived in the mocap studio. And I'm telling you guys, he was just like, anything I had a question for, like, you're the reason I think, honestly, I mean, everybody was amazing. I'm just gonna lift you up here, but everybody was amazing at Deck 9, but you're the reason I think that personally as an actor, my experience was just amazing because you take it in, Corwin, take it in. You not only like cared so much about like the actors,
So hard.
you cared about us. Like you cared about if we were fed, you wanted to make sure that we had break times. Like we had all these, like you were very focused on us as actors on top of all the a million other things you were doing, you know, for your job. We were just a small little part of your job, you know what I mean? But you made us feel so heard and seen and cared for. And especially during the pandemic when, you know, I had to come in and film for the wavelengths. You were like, okay, I remember being on the phone with you and pacing in my apartment. And you're like, this is what we're thinking. And I was like, Corwin, I'm freaking out. And you're like, we're going to figure this out, Katy. And we did. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, you're not comfortable flying. Okay, we're going to do a car. You know, we're going to make you, you know, we're going to do all this stuff for you. And you made it possible. You know what I mean? I don't know what hoops you had to get through to make it possible, but you made me feel comfortable. And like, yeah. So there's just so many instances where I'm like, Corwin, oh, and I've told you before, like, can I have you on every single production that I'm on? Because you are the best. Assistant director, per whatever, you know, whatever you're supposed to be right now. That's
I believe my official new title is Master of Shit Jobs.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's what Erica gave you, Master of Shit Jobs. Yeah, and that's another, you just did so much. I could literally just talk you up forever because I just appreciate and respect you so much for what you do. Yeah. Do you want to get into or you go for it?
You can't let me not respond to that. You can't. It's like you take it and let's get to the questions. Okay, moving on. I owe it to all the wonderful actors. We wouldn't be who we are without you. And like, it is definitely a relationship. There are people that will, you know, do whatever production says, whatever a producer says, a director says, and that's not who we are. We want to make sure you're at most comfortable, and the reason we did that is y'all are so wonderful and warm and friendly and honest and open and support each other, like just even behind the scenes of texting each other for help as we're like doing production and like bringing that all in. There's so much synergy in the set. That's what really created that atmosphere. So you need to give yourself credit. Also, I'd like to pass credit to Webb because he and I together care about actors immensely. And you know, at the end of the day, like even not even just actors, but everybody should be able to go home with a smile on their face, proud of what they do, and feeling just the peace and balance that we all hope to achieve in life. So.
Oh yes, we love that. I know you and Webb, dynamic duo of Deck 9.
Got sued by Adam West. It's a problem.
What?
Adam West played Batman in the 1960s for the younger folks in the chat that might not have known that. My age might be showing a little bit now.
It's okay. But no, I'm glad that you pay homage to Webb because it's true. I mean, just with you guys, it honestly, I don't know. I could just talk you guys up forever. I really, really can. Corwin's like, hello, I'm here. Keep talking.
Web's right behind me. Come on out, Web.
Could you imagine? You know, honestly, I wouldn't put it past you to like plan that for some reason. Like, I just wouldn't put it past you.
So I legit thought about doing that with Billy, actually, the angry bald guy.
Yeah.
Because I like, but he was just literally on web stream the other day. I'm like, it's too soon.
Honestly, if you had him come out through that door and just scream and then just go away and that was it, you know, and then he just was eating pizza in your living room or something the rest of the stream, like that would be perfect.
Not to make people feel disappointed in the stream because I doubt they will be, but my idea originally was actually similar to that. It was to have him just occasionally scream like outside my bedroom, like, and just see if people notice and just get like chat wondering like, am I hearing angry guy? Like bald guy? Like what's going on? Until we like reveal it like halfway through the stream.
Oh man, Corwin. That would have been missed opportunity. I know. Could you? No, I don't
He's
even.
probably on the bathroom break.
Ah, dang it. Well, we have tons of questions from the Life is Strange community, and they're very excited to get these to you. I know you read through them, so yeah, let's jump in. We may have covered some stuff already, so if we did, I'll scoot past those. So Tati asks, and I believe we do know that this is the first job you did motion capture work for. You hadn't done motion capture before. So how did that differ from other jobs you've had in like the industry of the entertainment industry, working with mocap versus on film sets?
Yeah. So my film background, believe it or not, it was more student films with occasional gems that were like indie style. And working those sets, it is so, as weird as it is, it's so much more chaotic because the production work involved behind film is so much more collapsed, while games are just spread out over time, and it's a very different experience for that. So like our sets are like a lot more, not a lot more necessarily, but they're really relaxed. Like we really take our time to get the right content. We're also actually, amazingly enough, we're more aggressive in the amount of content we get. Weirdly, they're like the amount of pages people like Katy have to like memorize and get lines down and then record in the day. Like in film, they say film is 2 pages a day, like 2 script pages a day, because you have to get all this different coverage, all these different shots. You're basically doing the same thing over and over again. And then TV, they say, is like 4 to 5 pages a day, because that's at a little bit quicker pace. Meanwhile, I think we like peaked around like 15 pages a day, like something like that.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, we had to. Like the game is just that much longer, but also y'all just killed it. Like I could never be an actor, because like we'd have to go again so many times.
Oh my
Y'all
gosh.
would have like, even Han, who sometimes would struggle with VO, would be like, dude, we're on a schedule, can you like hurry it up? Who cast this Corwin fella? So
Oh.
that's like one of the most notable changes that's just insane to me, is that
Yeah.
how much longer of a production is, but also how much in a single day we're actually producing.
Yeah, it is. That's interesting. Yeah, because what, two and a half years? 2.5 years for game? For what would you say for BTS
Oh
and for
yeah.
TC?
BTS was such a different schedule because it was episodic.
Yeah, that's right.
We
You
we
had
had like, yeah, we had like months, a few months span, I think, for every episode on the mocap end, and
mm-hmm,
then that went into, I guess what you could kind of call post production, but really it's production, and that's like cinematic artists and animators and all of
mm-hmm.
that. Um, the real difference, and this is actually maybe notable, is that even between Siren and Before the Storm, as people probably know, they were so different in how we capture. Like
Mm-hmm.
Before the Storm, it wasn't 1-to-1. We didn't have the full performance capture. We didn't have the face. We got
Yeah.
all the VO in LA. And I'm glad we did, because we got to meet Katy. We captured sometimes unique animations, but a lot of it was like library stuff. It was cycles. It was
Mm-hmm.
idols. And we used that to build out the game. So it was very different in a sense that a lot of the work and a lot of the performances came out through the animation squad. But then transitioning to True Colors, everything being 1-to-1 capture, full
Mm-hmm.
performance VO, matching face, body, like prepping the space where like if there's a table in the world, the table's there in the mocap room, and
Mm-hmm.
just having all of that was actually a transition back to closer to what I experienced in film, and that is just actors performing, and I loved it. I still
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. And there was so much prep too, because I remember you guys would prep things like well in advance of us coming in, right? So like you would have that, and I would have to, sometimes I got to watch you guys like measure out to make sure it was exactly where it was supposed to be according to like what we saw on the TV. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And yeah,
So
yeah.
what's funny too is that what we had in
Uh-oh. Wait, something happened. You look like a broken TV.
what?
I don't know. I've never seen this before, Corwin. I'm gonna be honest. Can you turn your camera off and turn it back on? That is the best
Can
solution
I
for.
turn it off and on again?
Yes. Can you turn
Wow.
on Discord? Turn your camera on Discord off. You should
Yes.
just be
Turn
able
off
to.
camera.
Now turn it back on.
Hold on, I want everyone to see this adorable cheetah.
It's
Okay.
really cute. Okay,
How's
you're
that?
good. You're good. I don't know what happened, but it was scary. I thought we lost you forever. We lost you to the internet. Okay.
I really hope not.
Hopefully that didn't get you away from your train of thought.
I remember the train of thought,
Yay.
amazingly enough. Apparently, I'm having a good day. I'm inspired by chat.
Yes.
So on True Colors, what Katy experienced was we actually had what we called Unreal streaming or visualization. We could map our characters and like with our markers and motion capture like our models or even some props that would stream to Unreal, and we would have a matching digital asset, so we could actually see things move around in real space. So what we did is we created this like what we call the axe, and it was basically this axis, just like this little thing with my fingers here. These three guys, and we used that to mark to find accurate measurements in the space, because we could do that real time streaming. We did not have that before the storm. So in terms of like going out and measuring things, what that looked like in Before the Storm, Katy, was me on a computer and measuring, okay, from this point in the wall, it goes this way, like 70 centimeters, and then up 30 centimeters. And I literally had like a tape measure measuring all of this. Like, because we didn't have Unreal Streaming or anything, I had to find a point of reference and then measure from every freaking point to map out the room. It was a mess. It was, and then Chad and Webb saved my lives by creating the whole visualization option in what we call our grid.
Yeah, dang. It's just so crazy to see where Deck 9 and everybody has come from the first game, you know, from BTS to True Colors. Like, it just blows my mind. Gosh, chat, you guys are getting so much insight. Yeah. Okay. Gosh. Okay, let's go with Ray's question here. When would you choose, and you might not know, maybe you do know this question, but if you don't, it's okay. When would you choose to animate a scene or sequence versus using motion capture in a game? And do you have examples where the team used one over the other?
That's a great question. You say Ray?
Yes, Ray. Yes.
I want to try and get the names right for all these wonderful questions. Thank you so much for the question, Ray. You're a wonderful person. Yay. And I hope you have a nice day. So I'm going to talk just True Colors now, because that is like the more sophisticated. That's what our goal is. So True Colors, if we can get in the mocap room, we're going to get it in the mocap room. So what it does is, you know, we do a single shot is going to take us, 5 minutes in the mocap room to get. So compared to the amount of animation time it might take to like hand animate it is going to be just so immensely more. It's one of the reasons why for True Colors we actually adopted for full performance capture. So a good example would be so even the I don't know if we can go into spoilers.
Spoiler, you can spoil anything you want. Spoiler. Okay. Just for anybody out there, spoilers are happening. But yes,
so
spoil away.
Snape killed. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wrong thing. God.
So in chapter 5, when Alex falls down a mine shaft, like we were like, let's get this in the room, and we legit created this big old rig and put her on a plank after troubleshooting, trying Webb first, and then he hurt his ribs, and we're like, let's find another actor. Found another dev, my friend Ellie, who's a wonderful human being. She did it, her ribs, and we're like, okay, we should probably hurt Erica's ribs, and then we just put Erica in, and it worked out. No, we put a lot of safety into it. We made sure people did not get hurt, especially Erica. We always put a lot of thought to make sure we do things safely in the mocap room. But like that's the extent we went. We like mapped this plank and like got the data in the mocap room and passed that to our environment artist, and we were like, replicate this because this is what we're gonna mocap. And then we did, and we got that 1-to-1 capture of Alex falling down a mine shaft, which is one of the craziest things we ever did in the room.
Wow.
And then to answer the other one of like, what do we not do in the room? Val.
Yeah.
I did not motion capture a cat as much as I told them I would love to. As a fan of cheetahs, I actually came in with my cheetah mocap outfit. It already has all the dots on it. It was perfect. And they were like, nah, we gotta hand animate it. We don't want to do this. So that's an example of like, if we can do it in the mocap room, we'll likely do it. But if it's gonna cost a lot to do in the mocap room, and it's easier to do an animation, we might do it. Or if we just can't do it in the mocap room, we'll have the animation just do it.
There you go. I love these chock full answers for these awesome questions, guys. Thank you again so much for these questions. Another one from Tati. Tati asks amazing questions. That's why there's a lot from Tati. Um,
Kathy, you're one of my favorites.
oh,
Also,
look at
Ray,
that.
you're one of my favorites. And everyone else in chat, you're also one of my favorites.
There you go. There you go. Uh, um, were there any instances where you found a scene particularly difficult to mocap, and how did you work through these challenges?
So two come to mind. And this is another one of the challenges of like animating versus motion capture, actually. So this is a great segue. Um, anything where, so the thing about full performance capture is they have these bars, these evil bars on their face with a big old light in their face, just like my fist, but it doesn't look like my fist, it looks like a light. And it is just blaring into their face. And that on that, like below that light is the camera. And the camera has to get all this data. And if anything crosses it, it's bad. It does not work. We need to avoid it. I'm sure Katie heard many times of like, don't touch your face.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna take a drink of something, like you're gonna do a shot, you got to do it down here. You're literally doing it into your neck,
Yeah.
and like because what animators can then do is they'll just raise your hand and reposition it to get what we're looking for. So the most complicated things we had to do to like cover that. One, hugs. I love hugs. I I actually am so thankful for the mocap team. This is where like why I love working with the team, because they always would want to say, okay, let's do one with facial performances and they're not really hugging, and then let's do one where they take the helmet off and their bodysuit and then we get a hug, and then we try and blend them together. I was like, guys, it's going to take so much time. Please, can we just find a way to make a hug work? And we did every time. But God, it is so awkward to try and avoid the bars.
Yeah.
The two things that came to mind that we could not avoid were Mac getting just the shit beat out of him, like on the ground, like Erica punching him, like that is expensive gear, and we're not gonna have this on our actor when we do this. So we did some splice shooting, I believe, if I remember correctly. We had Mac get hit a little bit because we want to get the facial performance, and we then had Erica punch basically a dummy. It was probably me. No, we probably had like some body on the floor. We actually have, I don't know if we ever got a dummy. We have a dummy like in the mocap room called Bucket.
Oh.
It's literally like this stiff guy. I don't know if we had him until like late in Siren though, so I don't think we used him. But yeah, we basically created a dummy for Alex to be, and then we had to like bring those animations that we captured separately together, and the team just made it work.
Yeah.
And that was with like a lot of prep. Like we really had to talk through, okay, how are we going to do this? What are the shots? What can we get away with? Like you'd be surprised how many times the camera can like hide things. And the one we don't have to go too deep because that was already a long rant, I feel like, is obviously the kissing scene we had to do separate. That was another one where we had to do, okay, let's get one with like everything with face, get that performance, and then let's just get the kissing scene. We'll get some reference, we'll get the motions and all that with the bodysuits, and then we'll just basically merge the two to actually produce it.
Yeah. For me, for Katy, because I'm curious, how much of that, because a lot of that was animated, right? A lot of it was actually animated because they couldn't get the actual faces doing the actual kiss, correct? Because we didn't have the cameras on. So that part was animated.
Yeah, that was like, that had to be all animated.
Yeah.
Unless one of y'all got like another camera on your face, just seeing that person coming in.
Yeah.
Like there's no way we were going to be able to get that with the cameras on.
So there you guys go. The kiss was completely animated. They just used us for reference. Yeah. There you go. Everyone's always so curious about that. They're always so curious. So there you guys go. That's some good information. Cool. All right. So Haley kind of takes off here in a different direction. Now, I think that this, I don't know how much of this was mocapped or animated, but Haley asks, implementing combat scenes, and I'm thinking they're talking about the LARP with Ethan and Alex and Jed. Sequence into a Life is Strange game is something we've never seen before. What was the process for creating those scenes / new mechanics, if you can answer that?
So we already talked about the Mac stuff. So
yes.
If you're talking about fighting with that, you have your answer.
Yes.
Yay. More education. In terms of the LARP, that was, I mean, a lot, it all sparked with Before the Storm, actually. So we knew the tabletop gameplay was like everyone's favorite, and it was like such a staple for us, like just entering into the Liz universe, and like people attached to it so much, and it was such wonderful fun content with amazing characters, particularly Steph. And we were like, we wanted to do something like that on Siren, and we were thinking about, okay, what could we do, but maybe even do a little better, so it's not exactly what we did on Before the Storm. And the answer was the LARP. So our wonderful creative team just basically came up with the idea of like doing this like old school, like, okay, we enter the cinematic, and then when we go into this gameplay of doing combat, let's go into like old school Final Fantasy style, like combat. I think the temp music we actually used for that was Final Fantasy music.
Really?
Yeah, because like that happens a lot in games and productions where you always have temp music, and like to just get the vibe of the scene. And it was just so funny to see that content with that music.
Oh my god.
But like the combat was actually, what's really funny about that is that was actually the closest we ever got to Before the Storm. It was like the idle animations, you know, you're doing this and then you got to do an attack and then you come back to your position. And like it was so much more like Before the Storm than anything. It was actually a little refreshing to just get that. I remember having to get like just playing with the actors and like having them like do their different poses, like Ryan freaking slashing and having to do so many different variations. And Ethan, oh my god, Ethan and that sword, man. Ignacio, I love Ignacio to death, but I tell you, you give that kid a sword and I am just terrified for everyone in the room. He wants to play around with it, and then we got to be the bad guys, be like, oh, keep it tame, expensive cameras around here. So Erica is like hiding in the corner from you right now.
Oh no.
She didn't hide in the corner. She was a champ. She was just ready to take that sword straight out of Ethan's hand.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I think that was the extent of what we did for the fight sequences in the LARP, though. Because I don't think we had any like actual physical contact. I think it was all like single position, do the thing, and then special effects take over to indicate people getting hit.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Are there any other examples you'd be looking for? I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I think that was the main one.
Okay.
I think that was the main one. Yeah, because I can't think of any other like crazy combat ones. But man, was that whole is just beautiful. I was like, what is this? What? This is magical. This is fantastical. When I was playing it.
Really sad things about working in the mocap room and being as busy as we are is sometimes we don't see the game for so long. There is still so much of the game I have not seen, and I have not played it yet, and I'm so sorry, but
you're
want
busy
to, and I will.
You're busy.
I will. I also am like waiting, because in game dev, like I think it's important to be able to step away and get into that mind space.
That's true. Yeah.
So I might touch on that a little later, but I forgot what I was saying. Oh God, it's happening already.
Oh no. Oh no.
What were we just talking about?
We were talking about the combat scenes, but we're thinking we got there. We're good. That's what they were talking about. And then I was talking about how beautiful it was. Fantastical. That scene.
Yeah, that scene blew me away. When that is one I did see a little bit of, and oh my God, it just blew me away. I hadn't seen that at all. I literally just saw Eric clawing in a mocap suit, and that was the extent of it. And then Jed doing a maniacal laugh in the mocap room, which was always, it was amazing. I freaking love Steve.
I love that. Well, yeah, Webb had just recently played it for the first time. I don't even know if he's finished with his playthrough yet. I have no idea. He was taking his sweet little time because he wanted to see everything. So I don't even know if he had, was done with it yet, but
I'll put it in his schedule to play the game.
Yeah, he's gonna see that. Like finish chapter 3. Okay, so going on to Dylan's question. Dylan says, first off, I wanted to say I'm proud of you and everyone involved in these games. They're truly amazing. Secondly, my question is, how did you guys react and tackle the pandemic situation mid-production? Was True Colors put on hold for a short time, or did you manage to persevere through it?
It actually, the pandemic sucked. We weren't able to finish the game.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I don't know what you played.
Yes. The pandemic was nuts. It was crazy. I remember middle of March, basically the office just told everybody, like, announcement, like, all right guys, here's the thing, we are all going remote as of tomorrow. Just on the dime, like all the work we had planned and scheduled, it was like everyone's going home. We had an option to do remote desktop. Remote desktop is basically you just use a little software to remote into another computer. So we could be at home and then remote into our machines in the office. And then we looked into an option to do something called VPN. VPN is basically you bring your machine home, you connect to the office's network through VPN, through just internet connection basically, and then you can actually work on stuff like you'd be in the studio. There's a delay, so it's not ideal by any means, especially for people where timing is like critical for, like, you think of like cinematics, animation, audio, like all of those, like the timing is so impeccable. So it was rough, but we ended up adopting that like pretty early on. And then the mocap end of things, it was like, what do we do? Everything is in that one room, and we had to rack our brains together. Like what was scary about the pandemic, and I mean, and I apologize, I think I communicated this to you very, very poorly, Katy, when it happened, but like people's jobs were like lined up on just making sure we had the work available to them. So Jeff again talked to the mocap team, talked to Webb, talked to me and Chad, and was like, we need to figure out a way to make this work. Like, if we want to we need to keep going forward, and we need to find to do it. So Webb, being the master genius he is, for those of you that don't know, he worked like so many years in IT. He's just a technical genius, and we'd be lost without him. He and Chad and just any other relevant folks like racked their brains together and came up with what we called HomeCap. Literally mocap at home. And what we did is we end up switching from our Vicon motion capture system, and we went through a different motion capture system called XSense, XSENS, just in case I mispronounce it, because I'm horrible at pronouncing my S's. And it's like a magnetic tracking system instead of like an optical one. So Vicon is all about cameras, and that's why we have all the cameras in the room and why they're so important. But then XSense is all magnetic. So we basically created this little care package for Erica, with the XSense suit, like her own face helmet and like her own box to capture face, with like a laptop and like an audio machine and like the mic. And we thank God she had a basement to herself, because she set this all up, God bless her soul, in her own basement, and created her own little mocap studio at home. And we then remoted into the computer, like her computer, we remoted in from where we were to basically run the system. She would have to suit up herself and set up all the gear herself, and we had to like walk her through it. It was crazy. I wasn't even on that call, but I know I planned like many hours for Webb and Erica just to sit down and explain to Erica, here's how this crazy technology that's even advanced for like the rest of us works. Yeah. And like she set it up with Webb, and we end up capturing this stuff at home. Yeah. I think I can't remember how we did it for you and Eric, but I do remember we had just a few pieces of like content we needed. I can't remember if it was just FVO, face NVO, or if it was like full performance. But I do remember we got some voice lines from you, and we had to do something called recap.
We had them from right here. I did my voice lines right here. I found them actually in like the game when I was playing. I was like, I did that right here. Yeah.
So we did that. We got your VO, and then we had to what we call recap, because we're all about coming up with crazy names.
Yeah.
And Erica recaptured to your VO.
Yeah.
Like there's a point in the game, and I can't remember what it is, but there's a point in the game where literally Ryan and Steph are both Erica.
I think. Okay, from what all the interviews I've been on, because somebody asked me, and I was one of the interviews I was on for the Square Enix interviews. And they were like, oh, so, and I was with Erica, I think, too. And anyways, somebody asks, was that you playing the drums? And I go, I don't know who was playing the drums. It wasn't me. Erica goes, that was me. I was like, oh. Because everyone's like, oh, yeah, you were playing the drums in that scene. I was like, no, I did not. I remember sitting down and like clapping and but I didn't do any of these motions or anything. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not my face either. That might have been where Erica.
That might have been pre-pandemic.
Oh, was
actually,
it?
believe it or not. Yeah, that might have been one of those where we had for that one I remember we had very specific capture we needed to get.
Yeah.
So like playing the drums and stuff, we either use Erica or we use a natural drummer in the office and use like his mocap.
What? I wonder what ones then.
Yeah, I think we did that for the guitar as well.
Yeah.
For playing the guitar, because remember for the shots that we really wanted specific finger capture, we had some guitarists in the office. That might have been even Webb for all I know. But I think we might have just got like, so we spliced like all these different people together to create those animations.
That's so crazy.
I think what she would have recapped for you might have been in episode 5, like in the final scene.
Oh,
or not the final scene, but you know, the one with Jed.
Yeah.
Black Lantern.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I remember that we had some content, and I'm gonna say what I heard as an AD, but I know we had like 2 days of shooting left to actually finish out Siren right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And like I think the last shoot that we had, like an actor called out sick, and like we couldn't do shoot that day, and. And the reason why I prefaced the way I prefaced it is I heard later that I think the reason why they were sick is they had a massive hangover. And so we had to end up getting all that content at home through HomeCap later. Like that, it actually really sucked for our content teams because we were almost at like the finish line to get them all the content they needed. And then like right before we finished, the pandemic hit and it's like got staggered by a month. I think we were up and running with HomeCap in like a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was a lot of information. I'm sorry, I kept cutting you off.
No. This is what we want. We want all the information. Man, guys, if you're a professional, don't drink when you've got to work later.
Again, it's hearsay. Nothing's proven. I'm pretty sure it was probably Webb and an actor was just covering for him.
It was actually you, and you're just making this whole spiel up to make yourself look okay.
What do you think is in my Spider-Man mug?
Definitely not tea. Is that peppermint tea? What is that?
It's actually jasmine tea.
My
voice has been rough. Those are one of the reasons why I was also self-conscious about today. Is my voice? It feels like I've just lost it, and I don't know why.
You sound great. Corwin sounds great, right? Everybody, he sounds great. I think you sound great. And this interview is going fantastic. I love it. And I have several more questions. But this one is kind of gearing a little different direction. Now, you talked earlier about how you were like, man, I don't know how actors do it. I could never do it. But little do some of us know, some of us don't know. Tati asks again, tell us about the experience of voicing an NPC. Did you also voice NPCs in Before the Storm? And you didn't wear any mocaps. You just voiced it, right?
So for True Colors, I don't believe I did any mocap. I think at some point I might have been in the suit, but I don't think I got anything special. But if you combine the two projects, you get a full performance capture because on Before the Storm, I did do body mocap. If y'all remember Evan in Before the Storm, like Evan with his photography.
That was you?
That was me. I did the body capture for him.
And you just had to be like on the thing, just like with your camera and just being like,
It was losing it because he was like, I need like the nerdiest walk you can give me as I walk across with my camera to go get that bird.
Yeah.
And he was laughing his ass off because apparently I was too nerdy. He was like, dial it back. It's way too much. I'm like, this was just me. I just walked like me, man. And then I had to get photos of the bird, and I just remember like he was like, give me like really crazy position. I remember I did like one like through my legs, and just it was really fun. But yeah, I ended up doing the body capture for Evan on Before the Storm.
Nice.
And then for True Colors, I think the name was Teen Bro.
Yeah, you were the younger one though.
Yep, I was the younger one. And fun fact is my younger brother played the older brother. He was Glasses Guy.
I love that.
And the hardest thing, I think, to the point of the question of like doing the NPC VO was just convincing Webb, who hears this voice every day, to give me the opportunity. And I'm very thankful he did because I really do love it.
Yeah.
And what's great is I think Teen Bro was like, we did quite a few takes, but the second I did another character. I think his name was Awkward Guy. It's like a single line, and it's in the Spring Festival. There's like this girl and guy literally sitting down on a bench, and they're like, and you can use the power on them and hear their thoughts. And the girl is like, does he not know this is a date? Is this a date? And then the guy was like, did I wear too much cologne?
That was
I don't
it.
know. It's like, I might have used too much. Is there such a thing as too much? And like my performance for that role was like spot on. Like at this point, I'm going to be stereotyped for anything in the future, just nerd characters.
Wait, didn't you voice a character in the end for the mind scene though? Didn't you have a character in there too?
No.
Wait, you didn't?
But Webb
does. I thought you and Webb both had one in there. Okay. There's somebody in there that sounds like you. It's not Webb. I don't know whose voice it is.
We had another guy. He's our music designer for True Colors and Wavelengths. And his name is Kolya Hine, or Nick Hine. He goes by Kolya Hine. And he did that voice. And I could see the similarities, but yeah, he did an outstanding job. He and Webb together was great. And the one thing in that moment that I did have involvement in that I was very thankful for is actually Webb let me direct him.
Yeah. And
that was one of my proudest moments because I feel like we got a really awesome performance out of Webb because of it. I was super nervous, of course, too, because I'm directing the director, but like I was so thankful again. Webb is such a warm soul, guys. You don't understand.
They really don't. He's amazing. Well, if you've been to a stream, you do know he's amazing. Yeah.
And if you haven't been to a stream, what are you waiting for?
You should go to a
stream. I mean, wait for the interview to end, but like
Corwin doesn't want you guys here anymore. Goodbye. But
yeah, go support Webb.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's awesome being able to have devs from the game come in and be NPCs. Now, I have a question. Did you guys have to audition?
Yes,
you did audition for it. Okay. Because I remember
in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, I remember, was it Chad had mentioned or somewhere along the lines that he auditioned but he didn't get it and he was really sad about it. I think I was a tweet.
I need to go look up and see if I can find Chad's audition now.
Oh,
I really want that as leverage.
No, poor Chad.
Either that or we just caught him in a lie.
Yeah, can you walk me through the process of that? The internal auditions?
Yeah, so auditions were crazy, first off. So Webb and I actually spearheaded auditions for the project, and we actually went through a local casting director named Sylvia Gregory Casting, and she's a wonderful human being. Love her whole team, and she found amazing talent. Katy we just knew, but everybody else in the game she helped us find. And we go through a whole process for like casting calls and calling back people and all that. But like for the internal stuff, we had like all the NPC content was being like rehauled so late in the project. I think this is actually when things started opening up again during the pandemic that we got like majority of the NPC VO. And we basically, what we did is we just sent an email to SAP and we're like, hey, we need voice actors for this. Like, we don't really have a lot of options right now, like external out of the studio. So like, if you're interested, like we gave him actually a little script. Like Webb and I put together just a little NPC script. It's like just generic like lines. Like I think I had a Pokemon reference in there. Like I called one like Bug Catcher, and that was like the Bird Watcher. It was like but we had everybody just record themselves and then send us the auditions, and I passed those on to Webb, and basically we just made some selection. We basically checked from the talent pool, figured out who it is that like who is appropriate to what characters, and went from there. It was a tall order. It was like a lot. Like I think we had like 50 plus 40 plus NPCs we had to record.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Different
a lot of
characters
people to bring in.
Different characters. Dang.
Yeah, we did and then we're like, I'm so happy for Webb. This is another one of the things where like I could tell it hurt him. Like he wants to go for actors. He wants to find the best performance. And like I really pushed him. I'm like, I know you can get the best performance out of these devs. Yeah. Like I know you can do it. And he ended up finding that. And we really worked hard to find the right voices for each character. Even reusing voices for characters, as we've learned from Teen Bro and Awkward Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what's really cool, and I think just goes above and beyond for storytelling and narrative design, is that we got to have stories with these NPCs. you could find them in each episode and get to learn more of their stories. You know, specific ones had greater stories, like the
Bald guy.
yeah, bald guy, or the couple, you know, that just didn't understand that they both liked each other. But you know,
Yep.
it added
Oh
to the
man,
stories, and I think that that's awesome. I loved
the
every part of that.
the guy friend and gal friend were some of my favorites. That was Esther, our VFX artist, as well as Max, our cinematic artist, and
Yeah.
both of them just nailed it. They were like, it's amazing how like it's so weird to ship two devs together, but that was like a situation where you could in a professional manner, I think.
It was okay to do it that way. Oh,
Can I a little secret too?
ooh.
So before we went internal, one of the things we did was we did want to use like our proper actors, like a really skilled trained professionals
Mhm.
for the NPCs. So for the people, and I don't think we ever did this for you because I don't think you were available at the time we kind of needed this VO, but basically we had our main talent try and give us different voices to like put in the game.
Yeah.
And it's not that the performances are bad, it's just sometimes actors have such distinct voices, you
Yeah.
can tell. The one person who did you couldn't tell giving us all these different voices was Erica's Valley Girl.
Wait, I
Erica's
want to hear Erica's Valley Girl now.
it was so good. It was like the best. We were so excited to have it in the game so we could like go onto a stream and point her out and be like, that's Erica.
Yeah.
And just blow people away. And then we end up having to cut that character from the game.
No,
But,
Valley
like,
Girl got cut.
Valley
Oh.
Girl got cut. So next time you talk to Erica or she's on stream, you ask for her Valley Girl. And I'm looking at Katy, but I'm also looking at you, chat. I know you're gonna be there. You tell her do Valley Girl for you.
Okay, I'm so excited. Ooh, okay, awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. Talking about characters and NPCs, Morgan asks, who is your favorite character from True Colors and why? Who is it, Corwin?
If I was a better actor, that would have worked. So I love all of the characters, which I know is a cop out.
I was gonna say you can't do that.
So the one I relate the most to is definitely Ryan, and that's not my favorite character. It's the one I related the most to. Before, when we were talking, Katy, I think I was talking about how Ryan was based off of me as being a semi-awkward gentleman who sometimes likes to listen to birds.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't based on me at all. But this big dork, this big nerd, how could I like not immediately relate to it?
Yeah.
And which hurt me a little bit because all through production, like even though like I was unbiased toward Team Ryan or Steph, just hearing people talk about how
Sir.
teams.
Sir. Sir. Okay. Sure. Unbiased. Okay, Corwin. Okay, Corwin.
Okay. I was unbiased
To
to
win.
start.
To start. Yeah.
Well, what you root for the underdog, right? Is like all through production, like behind the scenes, we're talking about like even evaluating the content, like we need to make like people are gonna go die hard for Steph.
Yeah.
Like they love her so much coming from the previous game. Like it is so hard to give her competition. What can we do to give her competition? But anytime would be like, man, people are gonna be all for Team Steph. Like no one's gonna care about Ryan. Like it's always those fears when we're making the game.
Yeah.
And so in my heart, I was just like, why does no one like Ryan? It's like I love him. He's such a dork.
I
He's
do love Ryan.
awkward.
He's awesome. He's a great character.
That said, in terms of favorite character, I don't know if I have one. I'm so biased. This is not because of the Ryan thing, but because of the actors. Like I've seen all the like raw performances you give in the mocap room, and like I love them all. Like freaking Jim Hunt playing Ducky, and just that scene in Chapter 4. Jed, like, and this is the thing. I haven't seen the scene, so I can't say how much it shows, but Steve Austin's performance for Jed, not even when he breaks down. Breaking down was obviously really impactful, but like his nuanced performance when he has the gun against Alex, like holy shit, that man brought it. Like it just it's really fantastic in the mocap room when you have these performance of these scenes, and like even those little moments just make you freaking feel it in your heart. Like, oh, and even for me, who, and Katie, you can attest to this, how much I do in that room. Like sometimes that wall of me just being in work mode, like it's not always easy to break, but man, all of y'all like we're able to break that down in one scene or another. That's why I love working with y'all.
Yeah. Oh, Corwin. Goodness. Everyone's saying Steve Kill It, Ducky was awesome. Yeah. Amazing performances. Okay. Tati asked another question. Do you have any funny stories or favorite moments to share about your experience working on TC? There's too many, I'm sure.
There are too many. I have a couple I'll share, because one of them I know came up in one, I think you're one-on-one with Erica, but I'm going to say that one for a second. First one is I was actually going through photos, like my old photos in my phone, and I found one when we were actually like planning the log scene from chapter 1, scene 5, when like Erica is taking Ignacio across. I remember that, like, I think I was the first one that raised this when we were talking through the scene and how we're going to do that. And the original version of that was he was supposed to ride on Alex's back, and Alex was supposed to crawl with him on her back across. And I was like, guys, Ignacio is like 2 inches away from Erica. There's no way he could be on her back.
Yeah.
So the picture I found that made me just lose it, I laughed so hard, was we had the plank we had created with like these big long tables lifted up by like apple boxes and sandbags, and the guinea pigs we were using to like walk across. I have a picture of our vice president, COO Jeff, on his hind legs, like crawling, and then one of our senior animators, Manny, on his back.
You have Manny on top of Jeff, just going?
On top of Jeff, just like on the floors, on that log, and I forgot about it. I didn't know it existed, and I saw this on my phone, and I lost it.
Oh my God.
I need to get their permission to share it before I could share it. But
yes.
Oh my God, like that's the stuff we'll do. We'll just do like we'll just do tests ourselves, and like it looks so silly, but God, it's so much fun.
I love that you have a photo of that though. Even if you can't show it, you have that though. You have that. I love that.
Just saying, Mr. Litchford, if I have leverage against you, sir. So please don't fire me. I didn't mean that.
You have leverage against literally everybody.
I don't know about that. Y'all have so much leverage on me, I'm sure. I remember actually there was the final set you were on. I don't know if you remember this.
The picture?
We were taking pictures.
I have that. I actually wanted to, I was going to bring that up. I'll post it. After this, I'll post it. I'll show the chat.
I was going to ask if you had it, because I had a picture of that myself. I'm like, I don't think Katie has the picture I'm thinking about.
Yeah. It's a group photo, and then Corwin's just like this, and he's just like, hey. And like if you zoom in, he's just like, hey guys. And it's just the funniest zoom in. And he's like, can I have that?
And when we took that picture, and I don't know if you remember, Erica was the one behind the camera taking the picture. And she was like, all right, hold on, another one. Okay, let's go for another. And it was like really long. And what she was doing was she was continually zooming in on my dumb face for this picture. And like by the end of it, I was like, I knew what you were doing. I freaking knew it. I felt it. It's like, so you're a horrible actor, Erica.
Oh,
in that moment, she's a wonderful actor.
Yeah, I have though. I have to post that. I have to show it. We actually have the web in the chat right now.
See Web?
Yeah, Web's in the chat. Hey Web.
Hey Web, we've said only bad things about you, sir.
Corwin's been talking you up so much, Web, and it makes me so happy. I just love Deck 9. I love you guys so much, and I just can't.
I have a mission for chat. If you haven't already, click what is his name? Cineweb, I think, right?
You don't even know. You're not even a true fan. Get out of here, fake fan. Fake fan. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
What's his name?
It's his name. It's his name.
Is it? Well, it used to be Cineweb. That's why I'm confused.
That was before. That was a long time ago. You got to give it the times of Web, man.
I did just watch his stream the other night. Anyway, find Web in the chat. Click his name and select follow, and or subscribe.
There you go. From the Corwin. There you go.
The Corwin.
The times of Web.
From Corwin.
I love that though. Oh man. Speaking of all these funny little things, Lawrence asks, will there be any blooper footage we can look forward to in the future?
Oh man.
You guys have a
So
minefield of things.
short answer is absolutely we want to. We, no joke, we had so much fun on set and had so many bloopers. Not even just Han scaring the living daylights out of Erica and then Erica failing to get him back. But we had so many bloopers that were amazing. We, in our program that we use to actually capture MoCap, we created a checkbox called Blooper just so we could mark bloopers. What the heck is a blooper?
I don't know, Corwin.
We can mark bloopers for all the takes. I combined takes and bloopers. That's what I did. That's a blooper.
Yeah.
But we basically built that into the tool. The only thing we got to do is we have to like get that list and sift it through the footage and then like find what we can share and get approval. We got to make sure it's okay to share and all that. But it has been on our list for so long. It would be a travesty if we did not share some of that those amazing bloopers with the world.
There you guys go. There's your answer. Maybe in the future we'll be able to see stuff. Awesome. So moving down to what were you gonna go? Go for it.
I was gonna go on a little tangent, but if you want to keep going,
we love tangents. Go for it.
Okay.
I want to hear a Corwin tangent.
So the one thing that we didn't get a blooper of this, and I really hate that I didn't record it. But basically, we had the rock out scene with Gabe. So we produced that, and I pitched it originally. I asked the cinematic artist of like, hey, listen, I'm in this kind of war with Han right now, with featuring Rick Astley. Could you make something happen? And so they produced that scene of Han dancing. And then when Han came in the day on set one day and we're like, before we get started today, we want to show you something. We actually produced this scene and we want you to see it.
Man.
So we pulled up the scene of Alex and Gabe rocking out, and then after like 10-20 seconds the music that kicks in is freaking Rick Astley, and like he loved it for one. He really loved it. But it was like the best Rickroll. Like everybody was like, so gotcha, like everybody, the whole crew. It was a long time coming and we didn't have the audacity to record it.
Dang. But you still have that. Do you still have that Rick Roll though? The Rick Roll video?
Oh man, that I would have to deflect that to Webb. I don't even know if he would know.
Webb, where's that?
It's gotta live. So we have a nonsense folder at work where like
folder.
Yeah, so like our cinematic artists would just create the dumbest memes or videos just to like
keep it going,
positive and happy. And we have a whole folder dedicated to it, and I wonder if it lives in there. Like I remember the craziest nonsense video I remember them keeping, and we still have somewhere, is they did like an alternate ending to Farewell. And it was the dumbest thing because like the skeletons were all broken. They put like Seinfeld sound effects in there. It was just a mess. And they shared this at like our Christmas party, like back in the day. And everyone, they were like, hey guys, we have a new ending to show you for the game. It's like, we think you really like it. And then the nonsense came up and it was one of the most magical things.
Man.
It's that stuff that makes you love like this job, like working in the devs, even on the hard days, like seeing that and the people that make that stuff is just amazing.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. So jumping into just like development side of things. So Stephanie asks, are there any tips for newbies trying to break into the gaming industry? Kind of a big question, but if there's anything you can talk to about that.
It is, what was the name again?
Stephanie.
I should remember that. Stephanie, that is an amazing question. And it is a common question we get a lot of the time. My recommendation is, I told the story of how I was in high school and I was like, I don't know what to do in games. I'll never get a job. And then somehow magically a decade later got into this job. It is just, there's so many viable positions in game development that you could do. Like, it's really just explore and research like the different positions that go behind game development and find what it is that really draws to you, what you want to kind of explore. Like I even though I wasn't a game dev, like that's what I did. I explored becoming an assistant director to the point where I build my skill set where I could get my foot in the door. Even talking with web, like that's not even my long-term goal, but God, I created a knack for it, and it's something I love doing, and got me this dream job because of it.
Mhm.
So for anybody that's looking for a job in game dev or anything, it is just look at the different positions because there's so many, and find what you really drawn to, because you have environment artists like creating all the digital assets like 3D objects in the world. You have concept artists literally drafting the concepts to the environments, to the characters. Maybe that dives into becoming an art director even.
Mhm.
You have UI artists who are literally creating all the amazing posters you see in the game, whether they're on the walls or the something, an object you interact with and pull up. You have animators, you have technical artists who are more programmatic side to help out animators. You have the programming team to code, and then you have people like Katy and myself working in like the mocap room, like more of like a film experience. So assistant director or even being a producer. You have a performance director like Webb, the wonderful man who I still hope is still in chat and you guys have followed him already. You have Katy, who's an incredible actress and we love dearly, as you all know. Can I get a big cheer for Katy in the chat? We all love Katy. Um, so like it's really just, and you don't necessarily need to know the thing you want to do right away, but I can say when you're gonna apply for a job, it's helpful to have the portfolio to show this is the thing you're interested in and this is what you want to do. We get a lot of people that have different experience that doesn't apply to the job they're applying for, and uh, that that's not necessarily a knock if they can translate it to the job they're applying for, but it definitely helps to like focus in on that. And then when you're in the interview, what we are looking for is we are looking for you to be doing that job. So a thing that I've noticed hurts applicants a lot is, so like mocap text for instance, it's a very specific job at the company. You're helping run the mocap room, you're getting them in the suit, you're capturing that data and you're cleaning it up so it can go to animators. We'll get a lot of mocap techs that like apply for the position and they're like, oh, I want to animate. It's like, well, that's not what we're looking for right now. Like if you want to do that, like it's good to apply for the animation position.
Mhm.
Now sometimes it correlates. Sometimes people will come in and like, I want to rock the crap out of this job as mocap tech. Like I've dreamed of being an animator, sure, but like I'm ready to rock this job and see what it offers me, and then just to grow myself as a person. And like having that like mentality going into it, it can get you places. I can tell you. Actually, Webb can probably confirm because I'm pretty sure I was one of those examples.
He literally, what did he say up here? Where is it? Where did he go? He goes, but Corwin was the best noob ever, which is why I hired his ass. That is what Webb said.
I really want to go back to all the other noobs just to compare, just to see who I was up against, Webb, and see if you made the right decision.
I love this question from Kat. So Kat asked kind of a very like focused question. Hi Corwin, huge fan of Life is Strange and mocap technology, currently at uni learning about it. Would love to know which system you're using and if you have any tips for getting the most out of your performers. And then goes on to say, Life is Strange has such an emotional force behind it, and it's incredible to see that come through the animations. Thank you.
That is an amazing question, Kat. I thank you very much for your time too. Uh, so on the technical side, I'm gonna give my layman understanding of it. So I apologize, I won't be able to go as detailed and nerdy into the tech as you might want, but I do know for mocap, we talked about earlier how we use the Vicon system. So that's the optics. It's the gear we put all around the room, and it's capturing the actual markers on the suit. So that is what we standardly use for the game. We talked about using the XN suit, which is the magnetic capture for the body, and we use that for all of our home cap. It's not as accurate as the Vicon, which is why it wasn't like what we primarily use. But it definitely achieved its goal, and it's still an excellent form of capture. That's just for body tech, and then on the face side, we actually use faceware. So faceware, we get a box called the Aja. They have their own software that we built to like work with our tools. And we would capture face and created a whole system with timecode and all this crazy technical jargon that Webb could speak to better if you really want to fall asleep. Sorry, not fall asleep. This stuff is awesome, by the way. I actually wish I knew like all the technical like prowess that our mocap techs and web know. It's insane. But yeah, that faceware through faceware in the Aja, we have like our markers, we have the cameras that they provided. We dot up all their faces, and then that goes through just the software to capture. And then we built a program, a tool that basically connects them all together. So our Vicon system or XN system with face will be triggered at the same time with our awesome tool, and that actually produces the data that we need to like sync it all up. Yeah, I think I think that probably is a good answer.
Yeah, no, that's a
hopefully.
great answer. I mean, that's
Yeah.
answers right to the technical side of things. I love that. There you go, Kat. Hopefully that answers your question. And so cool to see
Yeah.
people doing this and studying this at universities. That's awesome.
Web in the chat. If I miscommunicated anything there, please speak up in the chat. And then Kat, please go follow Web. And then next stream, please ask him to clarify what I got wrong.
He literally says, "You're nailing it, man!" Exclamation point. So there's your there's your validation.
Exclamation
Yes,
point.
he exclamation
I
pointed
only
it.
see those once a month. Oh crap! I won't get another one this month.
Oh my gosh, he used it on you. He used it on you already. But the validation is there. The validation is there.
Thank you, Web.
Let's see.
And thank you, Kat.
Let's go to Ray's question again. Another question from Ray.
Ray, one of my favorite people.
Where do you see motion capture technology or techniques progressing in the future?
Web is gonna hate me right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna steal one of his ideas that he loves to talk about. VR. So I think the next step that would be really cool to see, and there's a lot of technical like obstacles to it, is sure we have our actors, we have like the gear, which hopefully we can make more lightweight for y'all because it's not easy to have all on your person. So I think you can definitely improve mocap in ways of just making it easier on the actors what they actually have to wear for equipment. Just reducing the amount you have to wear, but then doing that to the point where maybe we can even put like VR goggles on you, or like just have something for VR. So when you're actually acting, you can see the character model, the other person, and you see the environment around you.
Ooh.
Like we could stream you into our digital environment, and we'll still do what we do in mocap, making the table and make all the objects. So you actually have that in your environment. But then instead of seeing apple boxes, you actually see your chairs, you actually see your tables, you see your doors.
Yeah.
So I think that is like the evolution that I could see for mocap. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
For that to work right now is when we stream, we actually don't stream faces either for mocap. So another step I think would be just building the technology to make it easier to support like that live streaming. So when Katy is talking and saying wonderful supportive things, we actually can see her character model in say Unreal doing the same thing. I think that would be ideal world. VR, see each other, see the awesome face movements match, and also you don't have to wear like a whole truck on your person just to capture data.
I thought the mocap suits were comfy, but I guess I'm the only one. I don't know. Everyone else said they were not comfy. I liked them.
I thought they were just fine in my very limited experience.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we talked a lot about Life is Strange. We talked about a little bit about development. A lot about development inside of Life is Strange. Let's talk a little bit about personal stuff. Let's talk about the personal side of things. Did you forget your bruise? Listen, it's fine, Webb. It's fine. I know you guys were so kind with me. It's because my head was so tiny. I still feel embarrassed to this day about my head being so tiny.
Oh, bruise. The Colorado in me was like, are you drinking right now? Like brewery?
Brewing? No. The bruise.
Like, Katy, I know I haven't seen your stream in just a little bit.
I'm just chilling, hanging out, just throwing some back. Yeah. Yeah, no, the helmet, the dang helmet. It took us a little bit of time. That's another thing too. Just like you and Webb being so patient about that again is why like I appreciate you guys so much, because other sets wouldn't give a shit, they wouldn't care. But you guys were like, no, we will stop. We will take 30 minutes so we can figure out your little egghead and make it work. And we had to do it a couple times until we could figure it out.
One of the things, and this is another maybe insider thing too, is I mentioned our casting director earlier, Sylvia, wonderful human being also. She's really amazing. And when we started casting True Colors, we asked her about we're just talking about all the different things, like the viability of cast, like people wanting to audition for us. And like by the time we were done with Before the Storm and just the atmosphere we created on set for the actors, even on that project, like she told us, like every agent in town like wants to work with you, like wants to send actors your way. They know how you treat actors, they know like just the atmosphere you create, and like they want to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And Webb and I took that with like, we were very humble about it, but we were like, we're going to be maintaining this because this is just who we are. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I love about Colorado, and this is not a shot at LA or New York or anything, but one of the things I have noticed with like local actors and stuff, that when they talk about the differences, is just there's so much heart in Colorado. Like people take so much more time to like care about each other and support each other and lift each other up. And a large part of that is probably because we are, I think, a smaller community. But it's something that like Webb and I just love. It's one of the reasons why I lost interest of wanting to go to LA for like film work and just stay in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
and why even Webb, I think, stayed in Colorado actually coming from LA.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's like, again, it's the best production I've ever worked on, ever, being an actor. Ever. Hands down.
I've been lying this whole time. The entire atmosphere was built by Katy. We owe everything to her. Like Erica refused to work unless we had her on set or at least on a Zoom call. It was ridiculous, but she really helped us out, made it work, because I'm a horrible person and they know that, and Katy knows that, but she helped us make a game.
Thanks for just setting the record straight there, Corwin. I appreciate that. No, but I'm serious. Yeah, I don't know. And I think, too, because I've never had an experience even close to that experience that I had working on True Colors. Never. And I think it's because I live in LA. Like, I think that's what it is. I think it's because I just live in LA, and I don't think I'll ever find an experience like that. I mean, maybe, possibly, it could happen, but
I mean, samesies, because and I think it's really a Deck 9 thing. When I first started, one of the things I heard from a creative director was, one of the big things about this job is leave ego at the door.
yeah.
Like, we're all here to make it to each other. We're not here to fight battles. We're not here to, it's not a pissing contest among devs. Like, even all the developers, like, we try and practice the same thing. It's like, we want to make the best damn game possible. And to do that, we know it's like being open to ideas, open to conversations, and just leaving your ego at the door so we can do this. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why we all collaborated so well in MoCap, and why we're still doing things like this.
Hey, yeah. I know we're all just staying friends outside of it. I just love it. It just makes me so happy.
Do you do like dance parties? Like you just put on a track and then we just start dancing in your streams?
Yeah, all the time. Like right now. We're going to start dancing right now, Corwin.
Oh, music is going right now?
Yeah, start dancing, Corwin. It's happening. I'm dancing, you just can't see me. Here we go. This is Corwin, guys. He's amazing. Guys, give it up for Corwin. Look at him. Whoa. Uh-oh, okay. Corwin, it's not that kind of show, please. Please put your flannel plaid shirt back on, Ryan. What
is the category? I thought this was the hot tub category.
Oh, Corwin. Oh my gosh. Can you believe this guy?
My buddy, when that came out, he was like, Corwin, can you please do the hot tub stream for me? Like, just buddy.
You know, I could see it, but it has to be you drinking from that Spider-Man mug, just like that. Fully clothed in a hot tub, in a kiddie pool.
Actually, the stream probably would have been just me fully clothed, but in a hot tub, drinking tea.
But that actually, guys, he did message me and ask if that could happen, and I said, Corwin, please. This is a professional situation, and he's a little sad about it.
Katy was just lucky my apartment complex shut down the jacuzzi, not because of me, just to be clear.
Oh.
Not because of me, Katy.
So let's talk a little bit about gaming into your personal. You're a gamer. You talked about that before. So Tati asked about, are you gaming in your free time? We do know that. So what kind of games do you like to play, Corwin? And we'll start with that.
Tati, that's a wonderful question. I thank you so much. You're a wonderful person. One of my favorites. I love all kinds of games. In fact, too much. I'm one of those gamers and one of those stereotypical devs that has such a backlog of games to play. Even like gifts people bought me like years ago, just collecting dust. And like, I just have too many to play. What I find gravitating to, unfortunately, is first person shooters a lot. I've been playing a lot of Apex with friends. when Halo Infinite comes out next month. Like, I grew up on Halo, and like I am so unbelievably pumped for it. But the game's like, at the end of the day, and this is what's really funny, is my friends like always want to play shooters with me, and then they shame the crap out of me because I love Nintendo games. I love it so much.
They shame you? What?
Yeah, yeah, in the generation I'm in, and it's like they're weird, like gatekeeper nerds, I feel like. Yeah, they're the worst. They're the worst. Yeah, shout out to all my wonderful friends. I also love you, but come on, guys. But yeah, I love Nintendo games. I love like every Mario game, like platformer wise. I absolutely love. When 3D All Stars came out, I played the crap out of the game just to play Mario Galaxy, which is like my favorite Mario game, just so I could actually ironically play as Luigi. And then when Metroid Dread came out last month, and that's actually my favorite gaming series, is the Metroid series. First hardcore game I think I got into is Metroid Fusion, and it's really bad because I played it on my brother's emulator on a PC. So I played my first Metroid game on a PC, and I didn't know how to aim diagonally. Like, there's no way to do it. So I literally could shoot up and straight and had to beat the game that way, but I fell in love with it. And so Metroid Dread coming out last month was like, you have no idea how happy I was when I saw the trailers and all the news, and then played that game. It was absolutely amazing. So.
And so some of you guys who have put the command in the chat, you see all the different links that you can go and check Corwin out at, but you also might see a Twitch link there too. So you actually stream on Twitch as well.
I do sometimes, and I've
seen it. I've lurked.
I have a little funny story about that. So I started streaming just because I wanted to gather gameplay clips. I didn't actually have a capture card, so I did it like built into the Xbox app, and then I would download my videos to stream, just because I wanted to get some footage so I could maybe edit together for fun little videos if I was inspiration hit.
Yeah.
But like shooters are like what I end up playing a lot, and I try not to actually stream playing shooters as much. I would get it for like gameplay clips, and I've been rated by UNWeb twice. And like when playing I love playing Mario games, and I love streaming Mario games, and like Metroid and just single player games, and those are like, because that's when I can get engaged with chat and like really have a good time, and that's like my best streaming experiences when I'm playing those games and just bonding with people in chat.
Yeah.
And the only times I think that you and Web rated me, I was like playing Apex Legends, which is like the worst game I should have been streaming at the time.
Yeah.
I get so heated, and I'm playing with friends, so I get quieter. And also, I think when you joined me, it was like the worst game I've ever played in my life. Like, I was missing all my shots, and I was like, they're gonna leave.
I remember I raided, and Webb said it in the chat too. I raided Corwin, he ignores me for 5 minutes. It happened to me too. Yeah. He didn't notice it with the raid either.
I'm so bad with shooters. Like, the only time, the times that you guys rated me was like when I was playing that game, and I felt so guilty. I'm like, oh god, they're gonna hate me.
No, never, ever.
They're doing such a kind thing, and I let them down. But I will stream occasionally. I do try and be better about if I even stream the shooter. But if you really want to catch me, I don't have a consistent schedule. I'm a variety streamer, and with the job and everything, I just do it when I have time. But when I do, I try and do it to have fun. And based off of some of the experience I've had, like with Metroid and the Mario games that I played, like those are some really good times to tune in. If you see me playing those, I think that'll maximize your experience if I'm going to be super self-conscious about this now.
And if you follow his Twitter, he does going live. That's where I saw it. I was like, oh, what is this? Clicked on it. Yeah, so he does going live tweets, I think. Sometimes. He did once. That's how I found it. He was secretive about it.
Follow me on Twitter as well to see all the retweets of Katy and Webb being awesome individuals. And also
you talked today about how you helped a lady when you were going to go brush your teeth, and you helped her get unstuck from the elevator, and you just hoped that she told everybody else that this man with the toothbrush helped her get unstuck from an elevator. So you have great tweets, okay? Give yourself more credit.
Do you want me to tell that story, or should we just make people go to the tweet?
I think, yeah, that's a good way to get people to your. But I also do kind of want to know what, like, the short end, if you will. I do with
I will do the short end. So long story short, I'm in many conversations at the studio, always carrying my toothbrush because I get sidetracked when I go to brush my teeth and get in a conversation. And today, even though there's not one at the office, I go past the elevator and I see this little, like, it's open a little bit. I was like, is somebody in there? And I check, and there's this lady just stuck in the elevator. And I start talking to her about it, and I try to get her out, but like, it's an elevator. I don't want to mess with that too much. So I didn't want to like force it open too much. So she ends up getting on this emergency line with the guy, and she is just so frustrated beyond belief. Like, she's being so short with the guy. I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm not leaving. And meanwhile, I'm just carrying my toothbrush and toothpaste this entire time. But then I did a little trick where I hit the elevator button to open up the other door. I sent it to the first floor, and then when it started going down, I hit the button again, because I think the way elevators work is when one goes down and you hit the button, it's gonna force the other one to open up, and it did. It opened up the door for her. She got out, and then it closed and did the little like weird little creeper like view. And then there's like they end up putting an out of order sign on it, but I like to think that lady just went around and it's like, I just got saved by a man and a toothbrush. Like, it's weird.
Was she grateful when she got out to you? Was she like super happy?
Yeah.
That's
She was like, what did you do? And then I explained the same story, and then
you're like, I know how to work elevators.
It's like, I actually locked you in there. It's like, that's why I have the toothbrush. It's a decoy, you know?
Yeah, there you go. There you guys go. Go to his Twitter, check out his Twitter. He makes great posts like that all the time. And yes, then he retweets a lot of stuff too. So if you like Life is Strange stuff, he retweets Life is Strange stuff. We've got
also follow Web.
Yes, follow Web. Follow all of the wonderful Deck 9 peeps. If Web is still here, that's the most Corwin story I've ever heard. Says Web.
I didn't tell him that story today.
Web's like, dang it, missed out on that one.
Yeah.
Dang it.
He just saw Corwin with the toothbrush coming back 10 minutes later, and he didn't think anything of it. He's like, this is Corwin.
This is Corwin, just taking extra time brushing his teeth. So we have two more questions here, and then we'll jump into the final words. So any other interests or hobbies besides gaming and working? What else do you like to do, Corwin? I know a little bit about this just from following you, but yeah, what else do you like to do?
All sorts of things, actually. So I've been bouldering a lot, rock climbing. That has been a lot of fun. Actually, it's very much like video games, because you have these different levels for the different routes you climb, and you kind of work your way up for it. So very appropriate pastime, but I enjoy doing that and just working out in general. I found out a long ago, as someone who plays video games and is introverted and stays inside a lot, that like it's really good for my health and even mental health to be physically active. So I love to do stuff like that. And even playing like volleyball. I think I probably invited you to volleyball maybe once or twice when you visited, Katy.
I think it was that or bouldering. I feel like I got invited to something, and I was like, I didn't go for some reason, but yeah.
I could see both, because I know we've actually took Han bouldering once.
I love
bouldering.
With his
daughter. It's so much fun.
I love it.
Next time in your town. And just saying, I saw Erica's post earlier about how you should move to Colorado, and I gotta say I agree.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I move there. Yeah, but I literally I love rock climbing. I love bouldering. I think it's so fun. So yeah.
It is a lot of fun. And what was fun is that time we went with Han, it was like right before the pandemic hit. Luckily we were able to have that awesome experience, actually. But the other actress we included was Christine Lau, and I don't know if people recognize that name, but she played Miss Chen.
Yeah.
She was like there for like just a weekend. She actually took some additional time off because she wanted to actually climb, and she came. So we had basically mother son climbing together.
I love that. Aww. With Corwin.
With Corwin. And I think Webb might have stopped by then. Yeah, Webb did come with us, actually. Yeah, he was there as well.
Yeah, he says that dude's a spider monkey. He was there.
It was a blast. And also Christine, I know I don't think she does a lot of social media, and she doesn't get talked about a lot because she was there for like just a weekend. But she's an incredible person. She's such a wonderful person. If y'all ever catch her on social media or anything, definitely give her your love.
Aww. And Corwin's so good about that. I mean, Corwin found the email for Jim, and made sure that people get in contact with Jim. Like, he was hunting down people's social medias left and right, trying to get people the recognition they deserved. I love that.
Jim was so thankful. Y'all made him cry, like no joke. Like,
Aww.
and he's such a kind soul. Like,
Mhm.
it's the one thing I do wish we had more behind the scenes to share, because I want y'all to meet like these people behind their characters as well, because they're equally
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, well, it's been so awesome because Webb's been doing interviews with actors on his channel. I've been doing a couple here. So if you guys are up here on the channel right now or on YouTube, wherever you're watching this, if you haven't checked out Webb's channel on Twitch, do it, because he's getting tons of these actors on there, so you get to experience the behind the scenes stuff, which is so awesome. Okay, so this last question is
Yes.
from Max Hunter, and it's almost just like, I think, it's just a thing that happens now, every single one of these guest interviews. Max asks, you're shopping at the supermarket and encounter an entire buffalo. Not just a partial buffalo. I don't know why there would be half a buffalo. But an entire buffalo in the produce section. You really need apples, and you're frustrated by the sudden inconvenience. You have the items at the supermarket at your disposal, but your shopping cart is currently empty. How do you get the animal to move? And then it says, what breed of apple do you desire? I guess that's like a second mind thought.
I go back and forth between Honeycrisp and Granny Smith, just so you know. First off, I would probably wait for the buffalo to get their produce and just get out of the produce section. Get out of the store, because it sounds like that buffalo is having a real hard time, and I want to make sure that buffalo he could have had a bad day. It could have had a bad day, and I don't know. Like, I'm not about to like get angry or try and force it out. That'd be so rude of me.
Yeah.
So I would probably talk to the buffalo, see if it needs anything, and wave my toothbrush at it while I help it off the elevator.
Love it. Now it's in an elevator where you just went from a supermarket to elevator. Also, I love that the buffalo is shopping. It's not just like a buffalo. It's a buffalo that shops for produce.
Why else would a buffalo go to the supermarket?
You're right, Corwin. Max is rolling right now, I'm sure, about this. Max is probably like, this is the best answer I've ever had for one of these, and I'm so happy. I love that. Well, Corwin, this has been awesome. This has been just chock full of so much information. I hope everybody in chat has loved this interview and got to know a little bit more about Corwin here, and got to know a little bit more about the insides of working as a dev on video games and MoCap and all of the fun stuff that goes on with that. So, any last words you would like to say? Anything you'd like to promote? And of course, guys, !1, follow Corwin on all of those things.
Also, Webb and Katy as well, if you don't already. I'm assuming you follow Katy, but just in case, please follow her.
Corwin's pretty humble.
I would just say, so if I'm gonna get real and hopefully not sappy, but I would just say, life is hard, life is chaos, and whatever opportunities you can find to find your own personal peace, not peace established by someone else, not expectations from other people, but the things that make you feel better about yourselves and feel good about yourselves and know that will lift you up. Make sure you draw to that. Even on the days where it's tough and you're frozen and you want to do all these things but have no energy, if you even have that little inkling of like that one thing sounds a little good, like just do it. Working in game development has been really hard. It's been some of the most challenging times in my life, and I found that it's easy to freeze up, but in those moments, if you go after the things that instinctually that could make you happy or find that peace, like, it makes a huge difference every day. So
I love that. Thank you so much for that great advice to end here on. That was beautiful. I'm getting all teary-eyed. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching this interview. And Corwin, thank you so much for coming on here. I appreciate this. Look at that little heart.
I think TikTok is doing like hearts in a different way now.
Wait,
too, right?
This has always been my heart. What's your heart?
I know. I saw this on Reddit the other day. There's like, they're doing something different where it's like they do this now. Yeah.
Like,
I'm so old. Like, yeah, they do like this as a heart now. It's like a pointy heart, and I don't understand it.
What about this? Oh, is it like this?
Yeah, it's like this.
That
So
doesn't. What is that?
I know.
That looks like a
It's
diamond.
weird. It is a diamond, right? Or it's Batman.
Yeah, there you go. That's an interesting little heart.
Yeah,
Well,
but yes, heart.
again,
What
Corwin.
a land.
I don't know. Somebody's like, "What the fuck is that?" Corwin, thank you so much for coming on this stream. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope everybody enjoyed getting to know more about you. And we will see you